Hey YouTube viewers, hashtag my global family. This is Dre Abeita, the YouTube academic, here with your hashtag Abeita reality dose. Today is May 27, 2020, Wednesday. We made it, you all. It's always a rough week, but that's okay because we're together and that makes everything better. I've been struggling over the last 5 days to try to do my American Educational Research Association Chair-elect welcome statements. It was a struggle, you guys. I went through multiple drafts, spent over, 28 hours on this one-page, 500-word letter. And guess what? 3 drafts later, it completely changed. And look out for it, you guys, because that American Educational Graduate Student Council newsletter drops on June 1st. So please look out for that letter. But in writing these many drafts, I was trying to figure out why it was so hard. Like, literally, why was it so hard? And I realized it's because I was talking about COVID-19. I was trying to address my amazing community and bring hope and joy and stand up as this leader, but while also talking about the devastation that COVID actually means. How do you do that, right? And so I went through a lot of drafts, and I'd like to share one of them with you right now. So please be kind. Please bear in mind that I do have PTSD and I am triggered, but also that as a revolutionary, a public figure, and literally a hero to my people, I literally tell all of my social work, teacher, education, former nursing students, how do they walk in the world? Through their potential, right, ignorance, through their potential bias, through the potential isms that run rampant invisibly throughout our world. I asked if they were a hero or a villain because they had so much power and influence in the world, and what would they do with it? For example, one of my students had reported as being a social worker in one of our class discussions that hearing from another colleague a heartbreaking story. What happened was this person, again, we have to remember positionality, right? We all walk in the world in different paths, depending on where we're born, what country, our citizenship, our access to wealth, our race, our class, our gender, our sexuality. All of those things depend on how we walk in the world. So the example my student shared, was that a social worker had been gung-ho and told them, right? And told a client to report their partner for abuse. No one should ever live in a situation of abuse, ever. But the reality is that the ramifications or consequences for such a report do depend on your citizenship, on your access to class, on your access to wealth, on what language you speak. So unfortunately, this social worker told their client, you need to do this, you need to report, you need to do this, that, and the other. But unfortunately, due to the intersections of citizenship and language, this client took their social worker's advice at face value and reported their partner, which resulted in their deportation, resulted in them losing their house, resulted in a loss of job. Their entire world was destroyed by doing the right thing, by reporting the abuse, but due to the lived realities and intersections that control and influence our daily lives, unfortunately, that person did not recover from that situation and is no longer in our country. So again, I ask you, willing or unwilling, are you a superhero or are you a villain? And how can we work towards developing our critical consciousness through our activism and agency to actually do no harm in this world and to help save all of our peoples? So today, you guys, I'm going to share that statement with you. Please share, please comment, and please be kind. COVID-19 has changed our world forever. And we as a society are still processing the confusion, emotionality, and frustration that this uncertainty has created. The tragic reality of approaching over 100,000 deaths in the United States and over 344,000 worldwide as of today. reminds us that we are a global community whose lives, fates, and well-being are intimately intertwined. My world forever changed on March 13th, 2020. Despite just leaving Albertsons, our local grocery store, my partner of 15 years called to report a lack of hamburger. At the time, I was picking up our nephews, Rindra and Radu, a freshman and sophomore, from the Lutheran house at the University of New Mexico, so I thought it would be no problem to make a quick stop. As I walked into the Smiths at 6:30 p.m., I felt shell-shocked and started to panic. While placing canned goods and a ridiculous amount of spaghetti in my cart, no hamburger or toilet paper in sight. I took in the crowded store and empty shelves and felt my heart pounding in my chest. I walked through the store, each purchase dropped into the cart like a chime denoting food security for my loved ones. After a little over $200 and an hour later, I checked out and picked up my almost forgotten nephews. That night, class privilege marked our dining experience as we ate burgers from ground steaks and I ordered toilet paper from the safety of our couch. Radu and Rindra, our nephews, international students from Madagascar, gave me grief about the American obsession with toilet paper. They chuckled and said that we had napkins and pointed out that back home, toilet paper was not widely available, much less Auntie's wet wipes. At 6 a.m. the next morning, as my nephews slept peacefully on the couch, I went to Walmart. From the parking lot, I started making calls to my friends to arrange rides to the store. Exhausted 8 hours later, after shopping for 5 households, 2 sets of elderly parents, our nephews at UNM, a friend or two, and our house, I went home to my partner in need of human contact and comfort. Unfortunately, that weekend marked our last in-person family dinner and the beginning of a new reality in which birthdays, graduations, and holidays were celebrated by drive-by parties and where #masks saves our lives and social distancing are absolutely necessary. Like millions around the globe, COVID-19 has pushed my boundaries to their limits, expanded my awareness of self and others, triggered my PTSD, exasperated my anxiety and depression, and ultimately forced me to embrace humanizing survival strategies. This last semester, my 3 face-to-face courses transformed into an online Zoom family of support, love, and hope, complete with post-meeting YouTube yoga and de-stressing cartoons. Together as a community of 45, we celebrated our daily triumphs, no matter how big or small, getting up in the morning, logging into class, moonlighting with our child's 6th grade math, doing laundry, shared our collective worries, realities regarding uncertainty, job, housing, food, and healthcare insecurity, and honored and mourned our losses due to infection, illness, and death of self, family, or friends. Collectively, our online educational community created a healing space that inspired us to continue to fight for our safety. Well, that's where I am, kiddos, friends, families, peers, elders. I hope you guys can give me some advice and some feedback. I'm trying to make a difference in this world, and I honestly just look for your help, for your guidance, for your support. Our actual lived realities is becoming incredibly apparently clear that we are not all equal, that we live in a terrifying society of have and have-nots, and that in reality, if you are a have-not, your life seems to have no value compared to the system that is driven by capitalism. Please help us. Together, we can and we will create a community of humanizing love. I love you guys, and as usual, #be safe, my global family. This is Dre Abeita, the YouTube academic, here with your #Abeita reality dose.